It seems like a Kevin Durant trade is going to happen soon. His name continues to be mentioned a ton, as it's only a matter of time until he gets traded from the Phoenix Suns. And Shams put out a report the other day listing the interested teams, and those teams are the San Antonio Spurs, Houston Rockets, New York Knicks, Miami Heat, and Minnesota Timberwolves. But I've said it from the start, I do believe KD is going to wind up on the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, the Spurs are the overwhelming favorite right now to land KD. Both sides have mutual interest. I mean, they had that mutual interest at the trade deadline in February. And you look at it, I mean, Durant teaming up with Victor Wembanyama, that would be one of the biggest home run moves the Spurs could make if they're seriously looking to contend next season. And why wouldn't they want to be in that conversation to contend and try to go all in now? I mean, they traded for De'Aaron Fox. You're going to have Victor Wembanyama, who's expected to make a full recovery. He's going to be ready to go at the start of the season. And the Spurs, they got the pieces. They got the depth. They can be a major player. The question is, what deal will it take for the San Antonio Spurs to pull a trade off for KD? And how will the Spurs look after it's done? We're going to talk about it on this one, guys. Do me a solid. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, plus ring the bell for more content just like this and stay notified for all of the daily updates. As it was John Gambo of Arizona Sports who did say that the package for Kevin Durant is set to be centered around Devin Vassell and Jeremy Sohan. One would have to imagine that there would also be picks involved in that deal as well. And I know there's a lot of Spurs fans that are not happy to give up Jeremy Sohan in this potential deal, but obviously you're not parting ways with reigning Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle. You're clearly not parting ways with the number 2 pick. But you look at it, I mean, you would not only have a big 3 in Durant, De'Aaron Fox, and Victor Wembanyama, but you would have X factors in Castle, in Dylan Harper, who I do believe the San Antonio Spurs are going to draft, despite all the reports that are out there. ESPN's latest mock draft, Jonathan Givony had Con Knipple as the pick that fills the biggest need. I mean, there is no world where the Spurs are taking Con Knipple over Dylan Harper, who would go number 1 in many drafts previous to this one. So I do believe the Spurs are going to end up taking Dylan Harper, as they should. And they're trading for Kevin Durant. You know, he played 62 games last season with the Phoenix Suns. Through those 62 games, he averaged 26.6 points, 6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.2 blocks on 53, 43, 84 shooting from the field. And Shams, he did put out a recent update saying that things are heating up. Interested teams want to get a deal done for Durant sooner rather than later, but it will come down to which team feels like they are a Kevin Durant away from winning the title. And I think the Spurs are definitely in that conversation if they trade for KD. The biggest thing when it comes to KD and his situation is, of course, he's an unrestricted free agent next season. He's on an expiring contract worth upward of $50 million. So whichever team that trades for KD, they would want to know that KD is going to stick around and he's going to sign a deal with that team that trades for him. And it could be KD's last deal because he is going to turn 37 years old before the start of next season. So there's a lot of variables at play here. It's going to come down to which team really wants KD the most and which team feels like they are right there when it comes to winning the championship. Now, when you look at the San Antonio Spurs to pull the trigger on KD, a potential deal that I like, and I've saw some of these on Suns on SI, that doesn't include Jeremy Sohan, because I think for the San Antonio Spurs, you want to try to get KD for as little as possible. And I think to have to give up Vassell and Sohan, I think that's a little bit too much in this scenario. I think Devin Vassell is definitely going to be dealt in a trade for KD. So a couple of deals that I like that I think the Spurs can still get done for KD that don't involve Jeremy Sohan being involved in those trades. Spurs get Durant, Suns get Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, the number 14 pick, which, by the way, I do think the Spurs are going to have to trade that pick in a KD deal, and them having that second lottery pick is huge in this situation. Number 38 and the 2027 first rounder via Atlanta. So I think that deal could realistically get it done, and I think it's fair. I mean, if you're San Antonio, you should do that. I mean, you are getting Kevin Durant, who's still a tremendous ISO scorer and just one of the best scorers in the game today, despite his age. And then another deal I like, if, you know, you're not inclined to part ways with Keldon Johnson, is the Spurs get Kevin Durant and the Suns receive Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, number 14, number 38, a 2027 first rounder via Atlanta, and a 2029 first rounder via San Antonio. So you're probably going to have to pay a little bit more in this scenario if you're not including Keldon Johnson. But I think either one of these trades could get it done, and I think that would be a trade the Spurs would be inclined to do. And I think this team will be in that title conversation if they get KD, because Victor Wembanyama is the guy. And I said this about the other teams that are in the running for KD. Like, KD can no longer lead a team to a championship as the 1A. We've known that for as long as when he left Golden State. We know Kevin Durant is the ultimate plug and play player, and at this point of his career, he has to be the second, even borderline third option. And I think in San Antonio, he has that situation. I think, like, out of the teams that have reported interest for KD, it's the San Antonio Spurs and Minnesota Timberwolves who have those true alpha 1A guys that paired next to Kevin Durant would make a ton of sense. Minnesota with Anthony Edwards and the San Antonio Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, and they have De'Aaron Fox who could be that too. So you're all of a sudden you're talking about Wemby being the definitive one. You have De'Aaron Fox being the 2, KD as that 2B, if you will. And then you still have the young talent. And I do think the Spurs are going to run with that 3-guard lineup. And, you know, they have the depth from off the bench. I think this is a team that could very well take the league by storm. In San Antonio, this was a team that, even without a KD trade, they're expected to take a major leap, make a jump in the Western Conference with a full season of Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. Now you're adding KD to that equation. San Antonio is going to be wanting to go for it all. So I think this trade does put San Antonio over the top, where they all of a sudden enter title contention. And I don't think they have to really break the bank to get a KD deal done, as they would obviously have to break their bank if they went after Giannis if he was available. So I think this is the perfect star level player that San Antonio can obtain that doesn't hurt them, but also immediately puts them in that title conversation next season. So I think San Antonio will be the team. I think, you know, any one of these teams can end up being the team, but if I had to make a prediction, I do think San Antonio will land Durant. It's just a matter of what are they willing to fork over. So we will see what the ultimate deal is. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Do you see KD on the Spurs, and how do you like the fit? Let me know down below. That is it for me. It's Luke signing off. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next one.